January 1943. Dawn breaks cold and pale over the flat fields of Michigan. Frost clings to the windows of a massive factory where the night shift is just ending, yet the machines do not slow. Inside, the air vibrates with the steady thunder of rivet guns, the metallic heartbeat of an industry that never sleeps. Under rows of harsh lights, aluminum skins are fastened to skeletal wings, coffee steam rises beside blueprints, and among the thousands of figures moving with precision and purpose, many are women, hair wrapped in scarves, sleeves rolled up, hands steady, working as if time itself has been conscripted. This moment matters because by 1943, the Second World War had become a test not only of armies, but of entire societies. Germany had conquered much of Europe through speed, discipline, and industrial might. Its leaders believed war was decided by soldiers at the front and men in uniform. Factories mattered, but only as extensions of a male-dominated war machine. The idea that women, especially American women, could become the backbone of strategic air power was not merely underestimated, it was dismissed. Before the war, Nazi ideology confined women to Kinder, Küche, Kirche, children, kitchen, church. Even as German factories strained under Allied bombing and labor shortages, women were only reluctantly mobilized, and often into auxiliary or forced roles. In contrast, the United States, after Pearl Harbor, transformed its entire civilian economy into an arsenal of democracy. Between 1941 and 1945, more than 6 million American women entered industrial jobs. Aircraft plants became their proving ground. German intelligence reports in 1942 focused on American raw materials, oil reserves, and steel output. What they failed to grasp was the human engine behind those numbers. The expectation was that American society, soft and consumer-driven, would struggle to sustain prolonged total war. The reality was something else entirely. A nation where factories ran 24 hours a day, powered by workers who believed their labor carried moral weight. Nowhere was this more visible than in bomber production. At Willow Run, outside Detroit, the Ford Motor Company applied assembly line techniques to war. By 1944, the plant was producing one B-24 Liberator bomber every 63 minutes. Each aircraft required over 300,000 individual rivets. The rivet gun became the symbol of this transformation, its sharp, repetitive crack echoing day and night, marking progress not by hours but by completed wings. German pilots encountering American bomber streams over Europe began to sense something unsettling. Losses mounted, yet the formations grew thicker. Destroyed aircraft seemed to reappear in doubled numbers. According to Luftwaffe assessments from late 1943, Allied aircraft production exceeded German estimates by tens of thousands annually. The question whispered among German officers was no longer how to stop the bombers, but how the Americans could possibly build so many. Captured German documents and post-war interrogations reveal the shock. Albert Speer, Germany's armaments minister, later admitted that American production figures surpassed anything we considered possible. He noted with particular unease the scale of labor mobilization, especially among women, calling it a decisive factor Germany could not match. For German soldiers raised on the belief that industrial discipline flowed from authoritarian control, the idea that democratic society and women within it could outperform them was deeply destabilizing. What German planners expected was chaos, inexperienced workers, labor unrest, inefficiency. What they encountered instead was relentless output. American women mastered welding, riveting, engineering inspection, and quality control at astonishing speed. Training programs turned novices into skilled workers in weeks. Government films and factory records document productivity increases of over 50% in some plants once women were fully integrated. The rivet gun, again and again, punctuates this story. Its sound crossed oceans indirectly, translated into the roar of engines over Hamburg, Schweinfurt, and Berlin. Every strike of metal on metal in an American factory became a vibration in German skies months later. For the crews on the ground, sheltering during raids, the bombers were faceless. But behind each aircraft stood a workforce that contradicted everything they believed about gender, democracy, and weakness. This contradiction forced a transformation in perception. German soldiers and civilians alike began to realize that the war was not only against armies, but against a system capable of self-renewal. American women were not temporary substitutes, they were integral. They earned wages, joined unions, and developed pride in technical skill. Surveys from 1944 show that many expressed a sense of personal contribution to freedom itself, even if the language was simple and understated. For Germany, the psychological impact was corrosive. The regime's rigid social order could not adapt quickly enough. Attempts to increase female labor participation came too late and were undermined by ideology. Meanwhile, American factories refined their processes further, reducing waste, improving safety, and increasing speed. By war's end, the United States had produced nearly 300,000 aircraft, more than all Axis powers combined. The rivet gun becomes more than a tool. It is a symbol of abundance disciplined by choice rather than fear. Its rhythm represents a society where participation was voluntary yet overwhelming, where contribution did not require uniform or ideology, only belief in a shared outcome. Each rivet locked not just metal, but commitment. When the war ended and German soldiers walked through silent factories and ruined cities, many understood the imbalance at last. It was not merely numbers or resources that defeated them, but adaptability. A society that allowed women to step beyond prescribed rules had unlocked a reserve of strength Germany never anticipated. Years later, photographs of American women in factories, smiling, exhausted, resolute, circulated globally. They were not triumphant images, but steady ones. The rivet gun is absent in these still frames, yet its echo remains. It speaks of nights turned into shifts, of ordinary citizens shaping extraordinary outcomes. In the end, the story of American women building bombers around the clock is not simply about production. It is about freedom expressed through labor, democracy manifested in steel and aluminum, and a quiet revolution of expectation overturned. The sound that once startled German skies began far away, and places where frost formed on windows and lights never went out. A simple, relentless rhythm, proving that wars are won not only by those who fight, but by those who build, and by the societies that let them.